Imagine a sea churning with fury, survivors clinging to wreckage as a monstrous wave rears its head. The ninth, the deadliest. The ninth wave, painted by Aivazovsky in 1850, hooks you with a gripping tale of survival. Based on an old sailor's legend that the ninth wave is the ultimate destroyer, this canvas captures the moment after catastrophe, where hope flickers like dawn's first light. But was Aivazovsky drawing from real shipwrecks he witnessed, or the storms raging in his own soul? Let's plunge into its turbulent depths. Aivazovsky created this masterpiece in St. Petersburg, Russia in 1850 at the age of 33, in a studio overlooking the Neva River, where the water's constant motion fueled his imagination. Fresh from his European travels and newly appointed as the main painter of the Russian Navy, he was at the height of his creative powers, yet his emotional state was a whirlwind of exhilaration and melancholy. Inspired by his Armenian roots in the Black Sea port of Feodosia, where he grew up witnessing tempests, and obsessed with the sea's dual nature as both destroyer and redeemer, he painted to exorcise his fears. Struggles abounded: financial instability in his early career, the pressure of royal patronage, and the haunting memory of his brother's naval stories. This work, commissioned yet deeply personal, was born from a need to confront mortality, each brushstroke a battle against the canvas's blank void, his mind echoing with the roar of waves he could paint from memory alone. The artistic process was a symphony of chaos and light. Aivazovsky wielded oil on canvas with a maestro's command, layering deep indigos and frothy whites for the churning sea, contrasted by the warm pinks and golds of the rising sun that bathes the survivors in ethereal glow. His composition draws the eye from the dark wreckage in the foreground, twisted masts and desperate figures, to the horizon's hopeful dawn, creating a cinematic pull that builds tension like an incoming tide. Unique features shine: his masterful use of transparency in the waves, achieved through thin glazes that let light penetrate like real water, and the dynamic brushstrokes that swirl with kinetic energy, making the sea feel alive, pounding against the senses. The colors shift from ominous grays to radiant yellows, symbolizing the thin line between despair and salvation, immersing you in the salt spray and the survivors' ragged breaths. Historically, 1850 Russia was under Tsar Nicholas I's iron rule, a time of naval expansion and romantic idealism, where art celebrated human triumph over nature. Aivazovsky, influenced by his travels to Italy and exposure to Turner's seascapes, reflected the era's fascination with sublime landscapes, shaped by the Crimean War's looming shadows. Socially, it mirrored the Russian people's resilience amid serfdom and reform debates, the sea a metaphor for societal upheavals. Symbolism crashes like waves. The ninth wave represents life's ultimate trials, the survivor's cross-shaped mast a Christian emblem of faith, while the sun's rays symbolize divine intervention or hope's rebirth. Interpreters see it as Aivazovsky's ode to human endurance, a personal reflection on his faith amid loss, or a universal story of redemption after ruin. Some whisper the figures echo his own fears of drowning in obscurity. Unveiled at the Imperial Academy, the ninth wave stunned audiences, earning Aivazovsky acclaim as the sea's poet, though some critics decried its melodrama. Displayed at the 1850 exhibition, it became a symbol of Russian spirit, its legacy enduring through reproductions and inspirations in film and literature. Today at the Russian Museum, it captivates, a beacon of survival's fragile light. Close your eyes. Feel the waves' icy grip, hear the wreckage creak, see the sun pierce the storm. This is more than a painting, it's a lifeline cast into chaos. Aivazovsky's brush lingers, whispering, "In the ninth wave's fury find your dawn, or be swallowed by the deep." Picture a storm-ravaged sea parting for a rainbow's gentle arc, a promise of calm after catastrophe. Rainbow, painted by Ivan Aivazovsky in 1873, hooks you with a profound shift. Unlike his earlier furious seascapes, this marks a new era where hope emerges from despair, but was it inspired by a real tempest he survived or a vision of divine mercy? Let's chase its iridescent glow. Aivazovsky created this in his Feodosia studio, Crimea, in 1873 at 56, overlooking the Black Sea that defined his life. His emotional state was reflective yet invigorated, inspired by a lifetime of marine mastery and obsessed with light's transformative power. Struggles included health issues and the grief of losing loved ones, but this work was a turning point, painted to capture the sea from within as if he were among the waves. To instill faith in survival, drawn from his Armenian heritage's resilient spirit and his travels witnessing storms. Amid the quiet of his home, surrounded by sketches of raging waters, he poured his soul into this canvas, his mind a calm harbor after years of turbulent creation. The artistic process was a luminous revelation. Aivazovsky layered oil on canvas with a visionary's touch, blending stormy grays and turbulent blues for the sea, pierced by the rainbow's spectral hues, vibrant reds fading to violets, that arch like a bridge from darkness. His composition places the viewer inside the storm, waves crashing in the foreground with cinematic force, while the rainbow's glow draws the eye to a distant calm. Unique features captivate. His translucent glazes make the water foam with realism, fine brushstrokes capturing light's refraction, creating a misty atmosphere that feels damp on the skin. The colors transition from ominous shadows to hopeful radiance, immersing you in the salt-laced air and the wave's thunderous roar. Historically, 1873 Russia was modernizing under Alexander II, with Crimea a naval stronghold post-war. Aivazovsky, influenced by Romanticism and his Naval Academy days, reflected the era's optimism amid reforms, shaped by the Russo-Turkish tensions. Socially, it mirrored the people's longing for peace after upheavals, the rainbow a symbol of renewal in a changing empire. Symbolism arches like the rainbow. It represents hope and divine covenant, the storm human trials, while the survivor's vantage evokes resilience. Interpreters see it as Aivazovsky's faith in life's cycles, a personal testament to overcoming grief, or a universal metaphor for salvation after suffering. Dostoevsky praised its innovative perspective, calling it a view from the sea's heart. Unveiled in exhibitions, Rainbow marked Aivazovsky's evolution, receiving acclaim for its optimism, though some preferred his dramatic storms. Its legacy inspires marine art, symbolizing hope in Russian culture. Today in private collections, it gleams as a beacon of light after dark. Close your eyes. Feel the rain's last drops, hear the waves subside, see the colors bloom in the mist. This is more than a seascape, it's a promise reborn. Aivazovsky's brush lingers, whispering, "In the rainbow's arc, find your peace," or linger in the storm's shadow. Envision ships battered by colossal waves, sails torn, masts bending like wills under fate's assault. Ships in a Storm, painted by Ivan Aivazovsky in 1860, hooks you with raw power. Drawn from his naval observations, this canvas questions if man can conquer the sea, or if the sea claims all. But was it a memory of a real gale, or Aivazovsky's inner turmoil manifested? Let's sail into its fury. Aivazovsky created this in St. Petersburg in 1860, at 43, in a studio echoing with sea tales from his Feodosia youth. His emotional state was charged with awe and fear, inspired by his role as naval painter and obsessed with the sea's untamable force. Struggles included the pressure of imperial commissions and personal losses, but this work was a catharsis, painted to honor sailors' bravery. Amid sketches of crashing waves, he channeled his Armenian resilience, his mind a storm of vivid recollections, each brushstroke a defiance against nature's might. The artistic process was a tempest unleashed. Aivazovsky layered oil on canvas with dramatic flair, blending deep navies and frothy whites for the waves, contrasted by the ship's warm browns and tattered sails. His composition thrusts the viewer amid the chaos, vessels tilting in the foreground, drawing the eye through swirling waters to a stormy horizon. Unique features roar. His dynamic brushstrokes mimic wave motion, thin glazes creating translucent foam that feels wet, immersing you in the salt sting and thunderous crashes. The colors clash, ominous grays against resilient hulls, building tension like a building gale. Historically, 1860 Russia expanded its navy under Alexander II, with Crimea central post-war. Aivazovsky, influenced by romantic seascapes and his travels, reflected the era's maritime pride amid reforms, shaped by naval victories. Socially, it mirrored sailors' perilous lives, symbolizing human vulnerability in an industrializing world. Symbolism surges. The ships represent endurance, the storm life's trials, while light-piercing clouds hints at hope. Interpreters see it as Aivazovsky's tribute to naval heroes, a personal metaphor for overcoming adversity, or a universal battle against fate. Unveiled in exhibitions, it earned praise for its realism, solidifying Aivazovsky's legacy as sea master, though some found it too dramatic. Its influence persists in marine art, inspiring films and literature. Today, variants in museums evoke eternal struggle. Close your eyes. Feel the deck heave, hear the sails rip, see the waves tower. This is more than a storm, it's a soul's trial. Aivazovsky's brush lingers, whispering, "In the gale's grasp, find your strength, or be dashed upon the rocks." Visualize a vessel splintered on jagged rocks, waves devouring its hull as survivors cling to hope. Shipwreck 1854, painted by Ivan Aivazovsky in 1854, hooks you with visceral tragedy. Inspired by real Black Sea wrecks, it poses if nature's wrath spares any, or if salvation lies in faith alone. But did Aivazovsky witness such horrors, or conjure them from his fears? Let's wreck upon its shores. Aivazovsky created this in St. Petersburg in 1854, at 37, in a studio alive with sea's roar from memory. His emotional state was somber yet resolute, inspired by his naval duties and obsessed with shipwrecks drama. Struggles included the Crimean War's outbreak, personal anxieties, but this work was a warning, painted amid war news, his mind turbulent as the depicted sea, each stroke a lament for lost souls. The artistic process was a crashing crescendo. Aivazovsky layered oil on canvas with intense vigor, mixing turbulent blues and grays for the sea, contrasted by the wreck's warm woods and observers' earth tones. His composition focuses the shattered ship in the center, waves surging in the foreground, drawing the eye to distant safety. Unique features grip. His foam's realistic froth via glazes, fine details making debris tangible, immersing you in the cold spray and cries. Colors evoke despair, dark storms yielding to faint light, building tension like impending doom. Historically, 1854 saw the Crimean War erupt, Russia defending Sevastopol. Aivazovsky, influenced by war sketches and Romanticism, reflected naval perils amid conflict, shaped by imperial pride. Socially, it mirrored sailors' sacrifices, a call for empathy in wartime. Symbolism wrecks. The shipwreck signifies fate's cruelty, observers human solidarity, light divine mercy. Interpreters see it as Aivazovsky's war commentary, a personal fear of loss, or universal resilience. Unveiled during war, it resonated, earning acclaim for patriotism, though some saw morbidity. Its legacy inspires disaster art, evoking empathy. Today in collections, it endures as tragedy's portrait. Close your eyes. Feel the rocks bite, hear the hull splinter, see the waves claim all. This is more than ruin, it's fate's embrace. Aivazovsky's brush lingers, whispering, in the wreck's grasp, find salvation, or be lost to the depths. Envision Tbilisi's bustling streets from a hill, minarets and merchants alive under Caucasian sun. View of Tiflis, painted by Ivan Aivazovsky in 1868, hooks you with cultural fusion. A rare landscape from a marine master, was it a homage to his travels, or a search for roots in exotic lands? Let's wander its vibrant paths. Aivazovsky created this in Feodosia in 1868 at 51, in his seaside studio, far from Tiflis, Tbilisi. His emotional state was nostalgic and exploratory, inspired by 1860s Caucasian trips and obsessed with capturing light's play on diverse landscapes. Struggles included war's aftermath, but this work was a departure, painted to blend his Armenian heritage with Russian identity, his mind vivid with bizarre memories, each stroke a bridge between seas and mountains. The artistic process was a panoramic poetry. Aivazovsky layered oil on canvas with a traveler's eye, blending warm earth tones, vibrant reds of markets, and blue skies reflecting his seas. His composition sweeps from foreground crowds to distant mountains, drawing the eye in a cinematic vista. Unique features charm. His luminous glazes make the air hazy, fine details bringing life to figures, immersing you in the spice scents and chatter. Colors harmonize, golden lights against cool shadows, building a serene tension. Historically, 1868 Russia expanded into Caucasus post-war, with Tiflis a cultural crossroads. Aivazovsky, influenced by Orientalism and travels, reflected imperial unity shaped by reforms. Socially, it mirrored multicultural empire celebrating diversity. Symbolism vistas. The city signifies harmony, mountains eternity, crowds human vitality. Interpreters see it as Aivazovsky's cultural tribute, a personal quest for belonging or universal unity. Unveiled in exhibitions, it praised for versatility, expanding his legacy beyond seas. Today in Georgian Museum, it bridges cultures. Close your eyes. Feel the market's bustle, hear the calls, see the hills embrace the city. This is more than a view, it's a world united. Aivazovsky's brush lingers, whispering, in Tiflis gaze find your horizon, or wander lost in its paths.